Okay, Maureen, we're good.
Oh,
Hi,
okay.
everybody.
Well, supposedly I sound muted, so I'm going to get up close and personal. Anyway, hi,
you sound
everybody.
good.
It's Friday. What?
You sound good.
Oh, okay, great.
Yep.
Hey, everybody. It's Friday night, and we are the ASEA 5. If you join us on most Friday nights, you already know who we are. I'm Dr. Maureen Hayes from Galveston, Texas, and I'm joined by Jimmy and Glenn from San Antonio, Texas. Anna's our beautiful nutritionist and personal trainer, and Jim is our big money man. And of course, we have Dr. Lee Osler, the infamous Dr. Osler, author of 2 best-selling books in the ASEA world, Redox Matters and Healthy Matters. And he hails from Richland, Washington State. And tonight we have a very special guest, somebody who has been a mentor to all of us for a very long time, came up with amazing molecules and amazing molecules training. We've all used that to build our businesses. We have Ambassador Double Diamond, Alan Noble from Frisco, Texas, who's going to kind of tell us where this all started, how he got involved, and why ASEA, why now? And I just want to tell a little story, because when I first got involved, if you heard my story, I wasn't interested in the business part. I just wanted to see if my husband would get better with these products. But Alan Noble was doing a meeting in Austin, Texas. I live in Galveston, about 4.5 hours away. I actually drove to Austin to kind of hear what was happening with this and what people were experiencing. And I heard Alan say from the front of the room, there will come a day when we are going to be order takers. And we span, at that time, all we had was the liquid. And we span a couple of different markets. We span health and wellness and athletics. And he said, this is going to be a billion-dollar company. And if you get in now, you'll be able to ride the wave. And I remember him saying that. And even though I was not interested in the business, it planted a seed. And he gave me a little CD to listen to on my ride back. And I was hooked. And you know what, you guys, that day has come. And maybe a few years later, but with our new products, honest to God, we're going to be order takers. So Alan, please come on and take it away. Tell us what you think about where we are now with ASEA.
Hey, thank you, Maureen. And hey, congratulations on your recent big win in ASEA. Congratulations on your triple diamond rank advancement. Really, really cool. Well deserved.
Thank you. Feels good.
It should do. Yeah. So at least you got to wear your tiara for the day. That's always good.
Yeah.
And you just got your roses.
Yeah.
You're muted, Maureen. You muted yourself. There you go.
I was looking for my tiara because it's never far. It's not never far from.
Like a paperweight, that tiara.
So you don't have it in the safe?
It's with the blue and everything.
You know, I have 3. I should rotate. I do love it.
The Disney Queen.
Yes, let me go get my roses just to show, and then go ahead, talk, Alan. I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll be your fill-in till you come back. So I actually remember that meeting with Maureen, and I remember saying those words, and those words, look at those beautiful roses.
Beautiful.
Wow.
From ASEA corporate to
So wonderful.
our ASEA queen.
It is so nice.
That's a picture moment right there, Maureen.
I have to keep them somewhere safe because you know I have those 2 big bumbling dogs. So
Yeah. What about your cats?
So really cool.
Okay.
Well, look, I remember that meeting with Maureen, and the words I spoke then would say are just as true today, but of course they're more true today. That must have been a decade or so ago, getting close to it. And today we have achieved $1 billion in sales as a company, over $1 billion of sales globally in 33 countries. And so the tiny little acorn is already growing into a nice little sapling. We're at the sapling stage. We're not a big oak yet, but guys, we're going there. And so it is very, very exciting times. There's been some new developments in ASEA that are very exciting. They're very timely as well, considering where we are right now. We're in a really interesting time, both physically and financially in the world today. And I think the positioning of ASEA could not be better. It just could not be better. So do you want me to tell a little bit about kind of how I came to ASEA? That's, my story towards ASEA, and then see where we go from there. Maybe talk a little bit about where we're going. Yeah. So I'm originally from Ireland. This is not an original Alabama accent. I'm originally from Ireland, but I I graduated with a degree in international finance from Queen's University, Belfast, the famous city of Belfast, famous for all the wrong reasons. Although that is where the Titanic was built. Did you know that? The Titanic was built in Belfast. We say it took an Irishman to build it and an Englishman to sink it, but that is another story. Okay, so I graduated with a degree in international finance. I actually graduated top of my class, and I don't say that to boast or brag. I simply say it to say I wasn't struggling. I was ready and prepared to walk into pretty much any career in the financial world, banking, financial analyst, stockbroking, something like that. And I realized that it just wasn't my passion. It wasn't what I wanted to do, but I could not figure out what I did want to do. And so I put on a backpack and I traveled 22 countries in Africa, 17,500 miles. I sat with the mountain gorillas. I climbed Kilimanjaro. I trekked through the jungles with the pygmies. I did all sorts of really cool things for about a year. And I thought I was going to find myself, find my life's calling, and I didn't. And I came back and I did what I think some people do, is they just get on the academic treadmill. And I started a master's in finance. I thought, well, I'll postpone reality for another year or two, and then we'll figure it out. Something that'll hit me what I want to do with my life. And I had just started my master's. I was 1 week into it when my girlfriend's father, now my father-in-law, had given Tanya, my wife, a book and said, here, give this to Alan. He might find it interesting before his master starts, keep him occupied over the summer before the master starts. Oh, well, I never got reading it. And I actually started my master's course. Well, of course, Tanya's father was saying, hey, has Alan read that book yet? Has he read that book yet? Has he read that book yet? And, when you've got your potential father-in-law telling you to read a book, you'd better read the book. So I finally sat down. I remember it was a Tuesday night. It's interesting. Whenever there's a massive stepping stone in life, or what our founder, Tyler Norton, calls an inflection point, very often you don't realize at the time, but looking back, you can remember everything about it. And I can still remember sitting up in bed. I'm not a big reader. Thank goodness for Audible today. Okay. But back then we didn't have Audible. You had to read. And so I remember sitting up on a Tuesday night, reading this book, saying, okay, I got to make Tanya's dad happy. I'm going to read it and then we'll move on. That 96-page book, I have it right here. Keep it with me. Called The Boom Business of the 90s. 96 pages. The only book I've ever read from cover to cover in one sitting. I have read other books, but in one sitting. And that book absolutely changed my life. That book is the reason why I am talking on Zoom here today, because that book exposed me to a business model that I was absolutely blown away by, the business model of direct sales and network marketing. And I saw in that business model not only a very powerful financial model, where the average person with very little capital could achieve remarkable success, but I saw a really ethical business model. Because, most products that are moved into the marketplace are done so with anonymous middlemen in their suits and ties. You never see them. They're advertising agencies, they're distribution agencies, and 60 to 80% of the cost of a product is moving through these middlemen, the marketing, advertising, distribution. Put those letters together: marketing, advertising, distribution, MAD. It's the MAD method. Okay, that's where 60 to 80% of the cost of a product was. And then they'll spend millions of dollars with some Hollywood movie star or some, athlete, some Super Bowl athlete holding up a product that they probably don't even like or use. Now, what's ethical about that? Nothing. And I saw this business model was one where people that genuinely love a product, that believe in a product, that use a product, that are knowledgeable about a product, can go out and tell other people and replace all of those anonymous fake middlemen with genuine authenticity. And I believe that this type of business model is absolutely, I will go toe to toe with anybody that says this is not one of the most ethical forms of distribution in the world today, because it is genuine from the heart. I would not be here talking about ASEA, wearing the ASEA shirt, if I did not wholeheartedly believe in what I was doing, what I was bringing to the marketplace. So anyway, that was my love affair with the business model. It then became a journey to find my home in the business model, to find that product range that I could really get passionate about, that I wanted to climb on the rooftops and tell the world. And I was really looking for a story that had never been told before. I was looking for that solo voice rising above the crowded choir. And back in 2009, 13 years ago, my dad got sick with a pretty serious health challenge. And I went looking for something that could tap into and harness the incredible healing power that I believe lies inside all of us. You want evidence of it? You cut your finger. Somehow, Lee understands it, but somehow your blood knows how to thicken. And then somehow those little skin cells know how to knit back together in such perfect harmony, you can't even see the cut. It's not even a scratch. It's a miracle. We take it for granted, but it's an absolute miracle. Okay, now we now know that signaling is foundational to all of that. But I believe our bodies have this incredible ability, this innate ability to heal. And I was looking for something that could tap into and harness that. And that is where my journey started. I'm a big believer in the power of prayer and the power of positive intention, focused thought. And within 5 days of starting this search, I heard about these redox signaling molecules that you all discuss every single Friday here on the ASEA 5. These amazing little molecules that are like little fleeting angels in our cells, little sparks of life in our cells. And back then it was quite amazing because there was nothing online, absolutely nothing. There were no websites, there were no videos, there was nothing. It was just through a chance conversation that I heard about these molecules. And I was intrigued enough to get on a plane and fly to Salt Lake City. And what intrigued me wasn't what I was being told. It was almost like what I wasn't being told. I thought, why have I never heard about these molecules before? And it was what I didn't know about them that intrigued me. It wasn't just another vitamin, mineral, antioxidant, et cetera, et cetera. This was something totally different. And so I was very fortunate to sit down for a day with the original founder of ASEA, Vertus Norton. I'll never forget that meeting. There's another big inflection point in life. And sitting 6 feet away from him, hearing him tell the story of how he turned down a huge sum of money from the pharmaceutical industry to bring this technology to the people, to put people ahead of a payout, to put ego and economics underneath principles and a sense of purpose. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the mission. I fell in love with the vision. I won't be afraid to say I fell in love with that man. I said, this is a man I could follow. This is a man that, for all my life, I've been psychologically unemployable. And yet I looked at Vertus Norton and said, I wouldn't mind working for this guy. First time in my life, those words ever floated around my brain. And so that was, guess what? That will be 13 years ago, 2 days from now. My 13-year anniversary is this coming Sunday. And I will tell you, it's been an absolutely remarkable journey. I started shipping that product back to my dad. He was the first guy in Ireland to drink the molecules. So we know they are safe for leprechauns. They are leprechaun proof. It's all good. And he had an amazing experience. Within 4 months, my father had a clean bill of health. But my wife was my first big kind of breakout story. Discomfort that was in her body since the birth of my first daughter 10 months earlier. She'd carried this around with her 10 months. We were very proactive, trying all sorts of things. And within 24 hours, my wife, zero discomfort. Now, that was the big wake-up call. That was when I knew that this product could do things that no other product could do because it contains things that no other product contains. And of course, we call these redox signaling molecules. And so that was the start of the journey, guys. And I can't believe it has been 13 years, 13 years of tens of thousands of people's lives changed with this technology, that if I spend too long thinking about it, I'll start getting a lump in my throat, because I've been fortunate to have interviewed a lot of those people. And truly, I never thought I'd find one technology that has such a broad, just a profound impact on so many people in so many different ways at so many different levels. And it's been so rewarding to find a calling in life where you can be financially rewarded very, very well for doing good in the world, where the size of your paycheck is a direct reflection of lives that you get to touch and change. So that's, I guess that's a summary. I don't know how quick it was, but that's a summary anyway of the last 13 years.
Alan, can you go a little bit deeper as to how you got to the United States and what you were doing then that you had tried networking back home and you kind of got disenchanted, didn't you?
Well, what brought me to the States was a 747. And
thanks for that clarity. Right.
That part we could figure out.
So yeah, look, I was fortunate enough to be able to come to the States, and I was a professional network marketer at that time, and it was an interesting time. It was a tough time. I came to the States as like a kid in a candy store. Every kind of product that was there, every type of compensation plan, every kind of leadership, and I began to see the good, bad, and the ugly. And although I fell in love with the business model of network marketing, you know, I see network marketing as kind of the next evolution of franchising. McDonald's has built a distribution network of 38,000 franchisees through which their products flow. That's franchising. What we do is we build a network of independent agents, independent distributors, independent associates, whatever you want to call them, through which product flows. It's basic principle of leverage. And so I fell in love with these concepts, but I was finding it increasingly difficult to find my home, to find that company where I wanted to say, hey, till death do us part, you know? I just couldn't find it. And so I ended up walking away from the industry. You know, I wasn't prepared just to talk about stuff that my heart wasn't in it. And so I walked away from the industry for almost 8 years. And I said I would not come back in to this business model unless I could find, number one, an exceptional, unique product, the story that had never been told, and number two, a company that I could trust. That was it. They were the two big check boxes, and you'd be surprised how hard it is to find and check those two boxes. But that's
did you continue to look though during that 8-year dry spell?
Oh yeah. You know, it's kind of like it's kind of like Jim. It's kind of like having a bad relationship, and you still like women, but you know you've kind of said, hey, I'm going into the monastery, but you'll still take a look occasionally, you know. So and then you find the one, and you go, okay, till death do us part. Let's go.
So Alan, let me chime in with an experience I had just recently, because I've been thinking about you and this whole idea. I had two of them. I was interacting online with he's a public speaker in a certain space, not related to us, but I thought, well, and it was kind of a help one. So I just kind of dripped on a little, and his reply was, he says, no, I don't like network marketing. And he took it back. He says, no, I loathe it. And I thought, well, you know, there's got to be a story there. But then I was thinking a week or two prior, I was at my tire store, changing my winter tires over to my summer tires. And he came out and said, you know, you've got some extra wear on this. And I thought they were brand new in November when I put them on. And I was at a different automobile service place, just having some other work done. And I said, how could that be? It was a brand new tire like 4 months ago. And he goes, well, whoever put this on, put it on backwards. And so it created extra wear. And I wasn't even sure I didn't even know if that was possible. You could on backwards.
How'd you put a circle on backwards? You know,
I don't know. And this is a really highly, respected tire outfit here in the Northwest. And I've thought about that experience with that. So am I just not going to ever go to a tire store again in the rest of my life because I had this one bad experience?
Yeah.
And, you know, I hear that reflected in your comments about, you said a little more humorously with women. I'm not looking for a new woman, but, you know, so I get the point. So maybe you could elaborate on that, because there's people out there that just loathe this. Obviously there's a story somewhere in their background. I've had my own story, but it's like, I love how you characterize this as being the most ethical business model, and people, they just don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I could dovetail on that, you know, when you said that, I do believe that. And I believe with this company, it's absolutely true. But, a lot of people, like Dr. Lee is saying, have had really bad experiences with network marketing, and it's not always ethical. So if you could kind of draw a line of distinction between that and what makes one company good, one tire company good and one bad, or one woman good and one bad. So
so I just scribbled 3 little bullet points so I won't forget them. Sometimes I'll go off on a rabbit trail and I forget where I was going. So I scribbled down what came to mind is really there's 3 reasons why somebody doesn't like this industry. Well, the first is it's not for everybody. My dad was a dentist. And my dad was a really, really good dentist. He really pioneered a lot of cosmetic dentistry in the 80s, it would have been 70s and 80s in Ireland. And, he really was an amazing, amazing dentist. And he wanted me to take over his practice. He would have loved for me to have studied dentistry and taken over the family practice and kept the noble name above the door. But I would absolutely loathe and detest to be a dentist, looking in people's dirty, stinking, gungy mouths all day long. I couldn't think of anything worse. I really couldn't. I mean, dentistry is the #1 suicide rate of any profession.
Lee, how do you handle that?
Alan, let me jump in. So I was giving a presentation to a group of physicians, and I had an OBGYN ask me that same question. It's like, how could you possibly work in that space?
He would be worse.
Oh, we're going into the doctor jokes now. All right, great. Maureen, your turn.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Maureen was what was a proctologist? There you go.
I wasn't a proctologist, but I was a urologist. My dad misunderstood that I was a brain surgeon. I was like, kind of. You'll get that later.
So that's where what my dad wanted me to be a dentist, and I would hate it. Sorry, Dr. Lee, I just would absolutely hate it. And my wife was an elementary school teacher, with like 35-year-olds, 30 kids in her class. I mean, I'd rather be a dentist. It was just awful. And so our profession isn't for everybody. And I think as, we go out there with our enthusiasm thinking everybody should be doing what we're doing. No, not everybody should be a dentist. Not everybody should be a school teacher. I know a lot of school teachers that shouldn't be school teachers. Okay. We all know people in professions. Well, really, they've no right in being in that profession. And look, if you don't like people, if you can't have fun, if you can't lighten up, if you can't take someone saying no to you, then this isn't for you. Find something else to do. And so I think the first thing is it may not be for you, and that's okay. There should be no judgment in that. And this means, you see, a lot of the times, the reason why people maybe have a poor image or feeling towards network marketing is because somebody approached them and wasn't professional. The great thing about network marketing is anybody can do it. The bad thing about network marketing is anybody can do it. We let anybody in. You don't even have to pass an exam. You don't have to get a license. Hey, Dr. Lee, imagine if everybody was just given a set of your torture tools and said, hey, go knock yourself out. You bought yourself $1,000 set of those scary little instruments. You knock yourself out. You go see what you can do, Or Maureen, anesthesiology. There's a fun one to play with, And so we just let people in here, and there's sometimes a lack of good training. And that's the first thing. People they're not trained how to sift and sort, how to move out of convincing and selling mode. Nobody likes somebody in convincing and selling mode. We want to stay in sifting and sorting mode where we're emotionally detached from outcomes. And as you know, we're passionate about teaching that in ASEA. Not only are we bringing one of the greatest health technologies in the world to the marketplace, but we want to do it at the level of class. And we want to make this industry, we want to elevate this industry to a level of professionalism and take it out of the ranks of amateurism. And so we take that very seriously. We teach and train and coach people how to behave and how not to behave. So that's the first thing, is just amateur hour. And that gets us a bad reputation. The second thing is management. And I've seen this, a company builds up your hopes and dreams, and then they sell it, or it's badly run or whatever it is, but the rug swept out from underneath you. And it's gone. And what you've worked for has gone. Now, that can happen in traditional business as well. Companies go out of business all the time. You lose your retirement, you lose this, you lose that. And so, but it can happen in our business. And then the other thing is, I think there's a lot of people out there that are maybe encouraged by the business, but they've never found the products that speak to their heart. And this is when it really gels. This is when you just get into the zone, when you can find that set of products that resonates with you, that you believe in. It's called congruency. It's where your language actually matches how you feel. And I think it's important. And so for me, I stepped out for 8 years until I could be congruent again, until I could have integrity. The word integrity meaning whole, complete. And so I could go a lot longer, but those are some of the ideas why I think. And then of course there's just people that, look, there's people in bad relationships, and you know what they do? They totally destroy their next relationship because they bring all the baggage and garbage from the last relationship into the old one. People need to grow up a little bit and experience a little personal development. We got to let things go. It's called releasing the past.
Yeah, awesome.
I got quite a soapbox on this one if you want to go on.
That's a good segue. Yeah, that's a good segue into next level marketing. I love when Tyler shared about that, and what makes us so different is our ethos, is our mission. And maybe we can talk a little bit about that, how important compassion and conviction and really caring and being interested in people more than to be interesting. And maybe you want to just tip on some of that.
But I do want you to go back, Alan, and go a little bit more into detail about your situation when you were in the country and what you were dealing with at that time, business-wise, when you had a period of time that you had to do so much of an income, or you were going bye-bye.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That story.
Great piece. Yeah, great piece of your story is that part.
Well, look, I'll start there and then we'll talk about Tyler's stuff. For me, it was about holding on to the entrepreneurial dream. I have a saying, it's about staying in the game long enough until. And the until is different for everybody. But for me, it was staying in the game long enough until. And until I could find the right company, until I had that breakthrough, until I had that quantum leap in personal development, until. And so, I had a really challenging time in my 30s. I discovered ASEA when I was 39 years of age. It seems like a lifetime ago, but I was 39. And, I just got married the year before. I brought my beautiful wife, Tanya, out from Ireland to live the American dream with me. And the American dream was turning more into a little bit of an American nightmare. I had joined a business partner to build a financial services company in Denver, Colorado. And it just wasn't working out as planned. And I was really trapped between a rock and a hard place. My current visa was currently with that partnership, and it was very, very difficult for me to walk away. And there were just a lot of challenges. I also had a 10-month-old baby. So Tanya and I were married about a year and a half, had a 10-month-old. No, let me make sure I got the math right here. We were married about 2 years and had a 10-month-old baby. I can show the paperwork and marriage certificates and birth certificates. So anyway, it was they're pretty close together, but it was a really tough time. And I find myself to be financially embarrassed. In the earlier part of 2009, I was behind. There's an old saying, behind on your dreams, behind on your promises in life. And that's kind of where I was. And, again, I felt really bad having brought Tanya out to the United States. She'd left a very secure job. She was head of infants in the school that she was teaching at, and a very gifted teacher. And I had brought her to live my crazy entrepreneurial life out here in the States. And with the 10-month-old. And so I remember having to borrow money from my wife's credit card to pay the rent. in our dark little apartment in Denver, Colorado. I remember that flight to go visit Virtus. I had to pay that $99 flight from Denver to Salt Lake City on Frontier Airlines on her credit card. And it wasn't that I wasn't working hard trying to build this company, but when you're building a company, sometimes you're last to get paid. And I was last to get paid. And sometimes I never got paid. And so we were literally living on fumes. And I remember when I sat down with Virtus, I truly remember thinking, this is my chance. This is everything I've been looking for. And I cannot hold back. I've got to throw everything I've got into this. And it was challenging because when I first started, again, as business partners building this financial services company, I was working 14 to 16 hour days. If God had invented an 8-day week, I would have been working it. And I had to really learn how to work smart, how to weave this business into the cracks of the day. I mean, literally at stoplights, making that very quick call saying, hey, Jim, listen, I've stumbled on something that I'm really excited about. I don't have time to talk to you about it right now, and I would send you, back then we used a little 3-minute sizzle call on an 800 number. I don't know if any of you remember that. It might even be before all of your times. It was because the internet was just getting started. There's only so much you could put. Like I wasn't playing videos. They were still taking a long time to load. And so we used a little 800 number. It might actually still be live, a little 800 number. And we had a little 3-minute sizzle message that explained what ASEA was. And that's how we started building our business in the cracks of the day. And and the story is in order to validate that visa, I had to take my income to a certain amount. I had to take my income to basically a 6-figure income. It was $96,000 a year. I had to take my income. And there was a deadline of April 1st to do that in order for that visa to be validated. And there's a whole lot more to the story. I went back to Ireland to check on my dad. I came back. Then I had to go back to Ireland again over another visa issue. And then I was working at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning in Ireland because we weren't open in Europe yet. And I'm still on the phone to America. And then I came back and lived in a little dark, dingy hotel, travel lodge up in just so I could be in the States in Salt Lake City. There's a lot to the story. There's a lot to my first year. But I will tell you, when that deadline turned around to April 1st, I was making $2,000 a week in this business. And you do the math. I had achieved my goal. It was my focus. It was my intention. And there was passion and energy behind it. And, you know, it requires a little bit of a backbone. And I think because I was willing to go through that, I encourage other people, you know, this is a business of personal development, cleverly disguised as a business. It's a journey of personal development disguised as a business. But I don't know if that's too much information or not enough for you, but that's a snapshot of the early days.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's everything that people don't realize, you know, and our stories really do line up. My dad was an oral surgeon. Can you imagine putting those in your mouth?
No.
But we had nothing. We had no future. And when we came across this, Alan, it was like, okay, God, is this it? Don't, kind of like what Donald N. Dominguez, don't fake me out here.
Yeah.
What was it like in the early days with Virtus? Go ahead, Maureen.
You and Ann did not have any network marketing experience prior to that.
Zero.
Dr. Lee, you did not have any either, right?
He still has that chicken bone stuck.
No, I actually did about 20 years ago. I was involved in Rexall Showcase.
Oh, wow.
Made decent money, and the company kind of didn't fulfill, you know, they kind of left us. And so, but it was a health product, and that's what I was passionate about. That was what really lights my eyes and lights my life, is something that's, and it works, and it's dated science, it's dated technology, but 20 years ago, that was the thing. And today it's this.
Great.
Yeah. And I had no experience, but I was horrible at it. I was one of those people who should have just gone back, but I had the bug, you know, I read a book like you did, not that one. I did write it down, but you know, I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I was like, this makes sense to me. And once that that little flip is switched,
That book is no longer in print, because I know there's going to be people wanting to know where they can get that book.
Yeah.
Right. It's no longer in print, right?
No, it's not in print anymore. And
is it written in Irish?
It was a UK. It was a UK book. It was a United Kingdom. And so, yeah, you can't get any more. It's all out of date. But I mean, the concepts are the same. The concepts of leveraged income, residual income, global income. I mean, these incredible wealth concepts that we get to embrace with this business model. But again, I think what my I wouldn't say it's unique by any means, but my entrance into this industry was the business model first, and then trying to find the company and the product that could check the boxes for me. And so I've always been able to separate the business model from the experience with a product or a company. And this goes back to, Lee saying about somebody loathing the industry. They're not able to separate out the actual business model and their experience in that business model. It's like going to a dentist and you have a really bad experience. Well, then you can go to Lee and have a fantastic experience. That doesn't mean, every dentist is bad. Just like, there's good, I've heard rumors, there's good lawyers out there even, so.
There's some.
No. Or politicians, maybe we should say.
So it's just funny, people just aren't, it's an interesting observation. And that's the thing. We have to always we don't get emotionally caught up in people's responses. It tells us more about them than it does about us. We step back, we go, as the great Jim Rohn used to say, isn't that fascinating? Isn't that fascinating? And so we live above the line. Below the line is frustration. Above the line is fascination. And we realize that we stop trying to have control over things that we have no control over. Then we give ourselves peace.
Well, now you're touching on what Ann was asking about with Tyler and Virtus. But can you explain real quick your relationship with them? Because a lot of people don't understand how unique what we have is, but a lot of it to me was our founder. I had to go and understand, why did he say no to that massive check? And that says so much about Virtus. But I believe we have, if it's okay for me to say, a step up with with Tyler. That in the son, we get the best of dad, but then we get the best of what Tyler brings to the table, which is, it's hard to imagine something this good.
Is Tyler watching this? Is this why you're being so nice to him?
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, actually, how do you know that?
Yeah.
Well, my other guy crush is you, Alan. So I had to. I told you that before, but no, you are the epitome of ASEA, and that's why we just love having you here. You are ASEA to frankly everybody in the world. Well, your voice kind of, it's him.
Well, that's very
average guy from Amazing.
Listen.
People always say when they meet me, they go, "You're taller than I thought you'd be."
What?
So I think I must be like this on Zoom or something. Anyway, well, those are very kind words. But look, it was an amazing experience working with Virtus Norton. I mean, here's the VP of strategy for Kraft Foods, a $36 billion company. He laid the foundation. Here we are 13 years later, $1 billion in sales, absolutely financially rock solid, no debt. I mean, it's a really well-run company. And, for Virtus to lay the foundation of that, I think the most important thing was, here's one of the big distinctions that isn't often talked about. We talk a lot about where the heart is, making these principle-based decisions, putting people and purpose and principles above the ego and economics, putting people ahead of the payout. We talk a lot about that. And that certainly was the molding for the culture that we are. If the law of attraction, that attracted you, Jim, and Ann, and Maureen, and Lee, and we haven't attracted we really haven't attracted any of the people in 13 years. We really haven't attracted any of the people that give our industry a bad name. Okay. They don't find us attractive. But we are very attractive to people that are heart-centered and integrity focused. But, you know, one of the things that I saw that I loved, there are network marketing companies. Again, I love the business model, but I don't like all the companies in the business model. There are companies that are starting right now, that are in business right now, that have a 3 to 5 year game plan. That's it. Now, you as an associate with one of those companies, you don't know that. And so when it comes time to sell out, you got the rug pulled out from under you and you did not know, but it was the game plan the whole time. That's going on. And so, you know, the industry also with the internet, it kind of became a popularity contest. Everybody beating their chest going, hey, we're the fastest growing, you know, we're this, we're that. And I think there was a level of maturity with Vertus where he was above all of those silly games. I mean, when you're coming from the highest level, Fortune 50 executive status of corporate America, you're above those silly little games. And he never got caught up in them. And he attracted, you know, obviously Tyler was very heavily involved in actually even why we're here. There's a whole story behind that. But then one of Tyler's very good friends, Chuck Funke, who is our CEO, a brilliant CEO. And Chuck will say, you know, there's levers that you can pull to make a company grow fast, but they are not the same levers that you pull to create a legacy company. And so one of the things that I think sets ASEA apart is we've never been obsessed with fast growth. Yeah, we want to grow. We want to grow as best we can, but we're not going to make stupid mistakes and make sacrifices that will hurt us long term just to look good in the papers for a week. And you'd be amazed how many companies do. And so really from the very, very beginning, I felt like, I've used this phrase before, till death do us part. I felt like this is a company I will grow old with. And if you understand even just basic math and the concept of residual income, where you can do the work once, but get paid over and over and over and over again, do you want your company to stay in business a long time or a short time? Do you want to be paid for 20 years, 20 times, or just the one time, you know? And so this company has always had that great legacy focus. And I've been able to put my head in the pillow for 13 years and feel that my business, my livelihood, my legacy is absolutely safe in the hands of the men and women running this company. It's never.
Well, yeah, that's awesome. And Tyler with the Next Level Marketing gets people realizing that we are long-term, that this is a home to plant your life into, that they're not going anywhere. They care. And I think that attracts people when they're looking for the right culture.
But what you're talking about is important, Alan, because we hear that all the time in corporate America. We hear that all the time. Oh, we're different. Oh, we're different. Oh, we have something unique. So I think a lot of people have kissed a lot of frogs and they have not found the right one. So that's and I understand that it's made them jaded. Yeah. You know, there's a lot, but you know, as an ex-financial advisor, guess what? There were a lot of bad stockbrokers. Yeah. You know, so so don't give up, right, Alan? I mean, don't stop. Don't stop.
Out of all of us here, I just hope there's not a lot of bad anesthesiologists.
I was just going to say, I'm not throwing.
That's a pretty serious mistake.
Under the bus, you know.
Hey, bad dentist, maybe you got to, you know, something went wrong with the tooth, but a bad anesthesiologist.
Yeah.
No.
If your patients don't wake up, you don't last too long in the for sure. But, you know, I was just sitting here thinking about it. And, you know, I absolutely love this company. I absolutely love what I'm doing. I love being a doctor. I feel like I'm a doctor in a different way. I'm empowering people to take control of their health. And it's very gratifying. It's very gratifying personally, and it's gratifying financially, you know, but we're mission driven. You know, we're not. As people, I don't think we're driven as much by the money. It is so amazing how the money comes. Mm-hmm. You know, as a group, I think you find that most of the people, everybody on here, does this because we love what these products do for people and how it changes their lives. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I think that's a real difference.
We were chatting earlier. We were chatting a little bit earlier today before we opened this up live, and we'll not get into any details or specifics. but we were just discussing certain income levels. And because you don't know, I mean, we don't advertise it. We don't go around, beating our chest. We don't go walking across the stage with giant checks we're just not one of those companies. Most people have no idea just what our income is because we don't publicize it. We don't boast about it. It's just, we focus on the product and we focus on changing lives.
With the little bit of time that we have left, can you talk about the new technologies? The one that's really got a lot of people very excited about controlling their anxiety and overwhelmingness, and I forgot the other two already. I need some more mind.
Mind.
Energy,
So,
mind, and mood.
He knows them.
well, but I mean, there's a lot of people that are under
Fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, stress, and overwhelm.
There's 5 now.
There's 5. I've expanded the category to include stress. So the 5 words that everybody needs to remember are fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, stress, and overwhelm.
Oh, wow.
And, this is a really exciting diversification of our portfolio. On one hand, we've got this huge, weighty, heavy, life-changing health science breakthrough of redox signaling. What they said was impossible to do, we did it. And, it's been an absolute blessing is the only word I could use to be part of the movement that has brought that product to the marketplace over the last 13 years. It's been amazing. And so, but everyone, a basic financial advice is you got to diversify your portfolio. And that's something that we've been wanting to do. But what do you do after you've created this massive life-changing breakthrough? Another breakthrough is not a diversification of the portfolio. It's the same again. And so if you think, well, what's the opposite? Well, it's something fun. It's fast. It's simple. It's easy. And so that's kind of where we've gone. It's on the other direction, but they complement each other beautifully. And so we've developed Redox Energy, Redox Mind, Redox Mood, that are little functional beverage drink powders that you can put into a drink, super healthy, amazing ingredients. And these products, Redox Energy, Redox Mind, and Redox Mood, address fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, stress, and overwhelm. And, I would have loved, I'm just being very honest with you, I would have loved our company to diversify 5 years ago. But there's a timing for everything. And this really is the perfect time. When you think of what we've been through over the last 2 years, there was always a section of population that can relate to fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, stress, and overwhelm. But boy, has that population grown by the millions, by the tens of millions after what we've been through just over the last 2 years. And so I feel, again, there's just amazing timing here where we are bringing into the marketplace just beautiful solutions that work, solutions that people can feel day one. These ingredients, and Dr. Lee is more experienced in these ingredients than I am. They are powered by redox ingredients. In other words, these ingredients have to check certain principles of redox, and they're in the product. We don't just fairy dust the product. They're in the product at their efficacious level. So if the science is, say, pointing to GABA, which is in our mood product, beautiful to kind of just slow down. I call it like a deep breath of relaxation for the brain, it has to be in there at the level that science says that's the level you need it to work. That's what we mean by efficacious dose. And so these are really, really cool products. The price point is absolutely astonishing on them. Cheaper than you can get much more inferior products in the store. And so what we're finding is we've got another door that opens now to an even bigger audience, to a different audience. And I think what excites me the most about this, and this will come with time, and we're getting an amazing response to this. You say fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, stress, and overwhelm. And I'm telling you, like 9 out of 10 people are going, me. I want all of them, or I want that one. I was having a conversation with a business associate of mine, totally outside of ASEA. We were talking, used to be my next door neighbor. And we were talking about rental properties and the crazy increase in property taxes here in Dallas. And we were just having a conversation. I said, hey, by the way, Dennis, we just launched 3 new products that address fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, stress, and overwhelm. He says, brain fog, I've had brain fog for 30 years. Bring that stuff over here. Okay. And so you just never know. But what this is going to do is open up some doors. But what excites me the most is going to be the cross-pollination. The people that came in for the fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, stress, and overwhelm, all of a sudden go, hey, what's that blue bottle you've got? What's that cell signaling technology all about? What's that Renew 28? Is that gel? What's that for? And that's, and I mean, we're already seeing the other side, you know, all of our ASEA family getting really excited about the cell performance. But I'm really excited about seeing people that come in on this very simple message. I'll say it again: fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, stress, and overwhelm. And they start to learn about our core technology. And it's just a really exciting time, because now I kind of look at it as this fast moving wheel. These cell performance products, these fast moving wheel, they're fast, they're effective. You feel it day one. And that's going to turn, like connected by a chain and a gear, to this big health science breakthrough of ASEA Redox. And it's just going to be a beautiful win-win. The timing has never been better for people to link arms with this amazing, amazing company. I believe we will absolutely double and triple the size of this company in the next 5 years. And so people ask me, Alan, why do you keep doing what you're doing? Why do you keep showing up on Zoom? Why do you keep making tools? Why do you keep making... Because we haven't even got started yet. We've just, the last 13 years have just been the warm-up. They've just been the warm-up. Now the fun begins. So this is a really cool time. It's exciting time.
Yeah. Great conversations can be started with the new product.
Yeah, I didn't mention the skincare. Maureen held up the skincare.
Yeah, she's holding it.
I'm not a great advertisement, you know, like, what are you going to do with this face? But, you know, Maureen can hold it up. But yeah, amazing skincare too. People are loving it. Absolutely loving the new skincare.
Yeah.
That they're natural, and the ingredients in them surpass, and that we can marry them with redox signaling. No other company can say that.
Yeah, actually, next week we're going to have Dr. Dick Walker and Nancy that will be talking about how bringing all. It's kind of cool because we have 4 pictures, right? The 4 quadrants, Maureen, of Robert Kiyosaki. Well, if you think about it, Alan, we have 4 quadrants of now what we present to people, and they can all be independent business models, right? But if you bring them all together, oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's really cool that we have the 4 separate technologies, and we're going to discuss that again a little bit more next Friday with Dr. Walker and Nancy Walker. Can you touch real quick on the next level marketing? How that makes us different?
Well, I think it's, you've mentioned some of the concepts behind it. And I think it's just what I said earlier. It's about raising our game from where a lot of the industry is in what I would consider amateur mode into just a more professional mode. I think when you realize the quality of what you're bringing to the marketplace, it allows you a certain posture where you don't need to be in convincing and selling mode. So a next level concept is, don't be convincing, instead focus on being convicted. Right. You know, work on yourself and then let it just shine from you. You know, people have been saying to me, Alan, you're like a giddy little kid with these cell performance products. Well, you can ask anybody. I believe in them, and I believe in what they're going to do for our business. And anybody that pays attention, even if they don't listen to you, they just see the smile on my face, you're going to know it. Okay. So we have to be congruent. It's just what I started with, this idea that we've got to be congruent and work on ourselves more than worrying about what's going on around us. I mean, to me, that's what it's all about, but it's raising the level of professionalism.
Well, and the point about being present versus, a fancy presentation. I mean, people versus, I have this great thing to present.
Well, so for example, I tell people, like, what we do is a little bit like a game of chess. And if anyone play chess on here, Lee, you look like a chess player.
I used to.
No? So you play chess. So, you move. Now, do you get another move, or the other player has to move? And then you move, and then they move, and then you move, and they move. You can't take 10 moves and so sometimes people come in, and again, this is the amateur how the amateur thinks. They'll come in and they've already decided, oh, I want this person in my business. Well, that's not for you to decide. Oh, I want this person to buy my product. That's not for you to decide. You're going to make a move. You're going to introduce what you have. They're going to make a move and tell you whether they're interested or not. You don't get to make their move for them. And so when we talk about being present, it's about, instead of being so focused on your own agenda,
Right.
actually be present in the conversation and connect with somebody and listen to them. 2 ears, 1 mouth, use them in that order. And be present, actually listen. You know, most people, they're hearing, but they're not listening. They're hearing, but they're not listening. And so I call it doing the dance, playing the game of chess. I move, you move. And I'm going to respect your move, because the single greatest respect that we can give somebody is their agency to choose, whether it's to our accord or not. And so this is just where we want to teach. And this is what we teach in ASEA. And so hopefully we are building an army of ASEA associates who are going out there with passion, with integrity, saying, look, I've got something I believe you deserve to know about. But what you do with it is totally up to you. If I sent you a short video, would you check it out?
That's it.
Yeah, and Terry Latham always said to me in the beginning,
don't bring the tone. Don't bring the tone down in the call.
Sorry, I had to. But what if? What if what we have is real? And that just kept sticking with me, because Alan, if you, again, as an ex-financial advisor, a stockbroker who did a lot of IPOs, if you would have told me that you had a technologies now that do what we do, I would have said you're crazy. But what if, right? And I think going to amazingmolecules.com, if anybody new is here, please get back to the person that brought you onto the call. But go to amazingmolecules.com. And Alan, you do have his talk there, correct? About the ethos of the company? That's on the training site. I can put a link up there. I can put a link.
Okay.
Yeah. But I thought you had one of the talks. I guess that is in the amazingmoleculestraining.com is the other site that Alan Noble has created. But on amazingmolecules.com, the first video that I watched that changed me, that had me hooked, was watching the 16-minute Genesis video.
It's up
when
there.
You see the heart. Yeah, that one's there. And we send all of our people go to that site, because we've had more people that go, geez, Pete, man, I stayed up all night watching all those videos, and man, they're done. And now we can give them the energy drink before at night, and they'll be up all night watching it because they can't go to sleep.
Well,
it's real redox results.
Yes, we love that.
Yeah, you've brought us so many incredible tools.
Well, I got some new stuff coming.
Well, you just updated your site, right? I'd like people to know.
Oh yeah, that was just warming up. I got some new stuff coming.
Oh, good.
And he can't tell you.
Well, I understand.
Isn't he sweet? He's going to bait us like this and not say anything else. Are you going to say anything else tonight?
No,
Alan, where are you going?
It's not quite finished. It's all about cell performance.
Yeah.
We're almost.
But I know your site got a little bit of a makeover, right? So people should go there.
Well, cell performance and the facial care system are now there. The talks that you recently did. But yeah, I know you're coming out with something else. You got some great ideas. Well, Alan Noble,
you're awesome.
I know you got to go pack, because I think you're leaving. When are you heading overseas?
Oh, June 11th. Trust me, I'll be packing June 10th. Don't worry about that.
Oh, but you got a lot to do between now and June 10th.
Depends what time the flight is. I could be packing June 11th.
No.
Drives Tanya nuts.
Right. Well, anything you want to say? What does the future hold? I mean, is this thing almost over? I mean, has this company run its course?
No. Did you miss the last bit? Did you fall asleep?
Oh, just shut it up, Alan. Stop giving me a hard time.
I'm
sorry I brought up Terry. That put you in a bad mood.
No, you're good. We love Terry.
I know
you know what? That is one of the things. I mean, ASEA is my American family. It's my Australian family. It's my European family. It's my Asian family. I mean, the friendships that you build in a business like this is, I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, we make fun of. I mean, Terry and we make fun of each other all the time. But I mean, we're deep friends, and it's. I hope he never hears that. But it's the friendships are incredible. They're absolutely incredible. You build lifelong friendships when you get together and build these teams. But look, where we're going, it's amazing. Again, these self-performance products, they're going to open up a whole new market, whole new price range, a whole new demographic. Traditionally, we have really focused between the 45 and 75-year-old. And in that 3 decades, we've had phenomenal success. And we've changed a lot of lives. But, these new products, hey, my mom's 87 and she can't wait to try the products when I come home with a suitcase full, But, we're going to open up demographic to younger people, 18 years of age, 20, 25, 30 years of age. And every one of those, they've got somebody that they know and love and care about that deserves to know about our technology. So I think you're going to see a tremendous acceleration of growth here. But we're in a great place. We're a very mature company. We're ready to handle it. And again, it's just what I said. I think in the next 5 years, we will double and triple the size of this company. And again, I'm not going to miss it. I'll be honest with you. Could I hang up the boots and retire? Yeah, I could. I built a very strong residual passive income, but I'm not going to miss it. I'm not going to miss it. And there are people coming on board today that are making what I did look like child's play. I mean, you're going to see people coming on board now that move at a speed that just make us look old and slow. And so it's a really, really, really exciting time. I would just encourage everybody, if there are guests on here, do your due diligence. Get back to the person, get your questions answered. We've nothing to hide. We're a very open, very transparent company. And if you decide to join us, put your head down, make a commitment, not stick your toe in the water and give it a try. Okay. You're already setting yourself up for failure. Give it a year commitment. It's going to take you some time to figure it out, to stay in the game long enough until you have the success that you deserve here. But it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. Most incredible journey.
Yeah.
Well, it's something, I'm sorry, Ann, that this company has laid the groundwork. It's got the infrastructure. We've got all the shipping. We've got the warehousing. The product is all made, the majority of it, I guess, in the United States. But everything's been laid, the support, the home office, everything that we have. And all we have to do is just go out and talk to people.
Yeah.
Everything else is done. I mean, what a beautiful plan.
Finding green apples.
Go out and talk to people with total emotional detachment. Don't get caught up in your own agenda. Respect other people. But we're simply the ones saying, hey, we got something you deserve to know about. Would you like to know about it? It's that simple.
That's it.
Thank you.
You're going to be gone a couple months, so we're going to miss you on Thursday nights, right?
So when will you start that back up?
Oh, you ask the tough questions. We'll see. Whenever there's changes in the business, you've got to just ask yourself, hey, what tools do we need moving forward? And that's why I'm excited to launch some new tools here soon.
Well, I just want you to know you've got people that are crying because they don't have Thursday night available with you. So you got a lot of wounded people out there. You're going to have to make it up.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'll make it up to them. What I've got coming, I'll make it up.
You've got good stuff.
All right. Maureen, you want to say anything?
Fun with your family.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you so much for being here. This was awesome. We're all so excited. This is a day for our company. I mean, we love our Redox products, but I'll tell you what, it's because of these products that I'm a triple diamond, just the excitement and the enthusiasm about them. So thank you.
I love it.
Well, guys, Lee, anything you want to say?
No, just a big thank you to Alan for being such a shining light on the hill for us. It's always,
that's just my bald head, Lee. Thank you for drawing attention to that.
I was taught something about the facial stuff. Just get it up there too. But you're doing awesome.
Looking younger every day.
Thank you, Lee, for everything you do, and Maureen and Jim and Ann. Really appreciate you showing up here in the ASEA 5. This is a very valuable call. So I appreciate all of your hard work as well. So thank you.
Well, we're trying to continue in your model of what to do, and we try to help pay it forward to educate people. So guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
See you next week.
We will be back next Friday, where we'll have Dr. Dick Walker and Nancy Walker going over more of why all of these 4 different product lines all can mesh and come together. But the only reason we're doing this is for you, is to be able to help share this, to invite people to come listen and hear about what we have, because what we have is very unique. We're only one company in the world that has the flagship technology of Redox. And so it's just amazing how this is a gift. It's an honor for us to do this.
Yeah.
So guys, we love you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And I'm sorry we could not go live on Facebook. This will be up. The Vimeo will be in Facebook within half an hour. So thank you guys.
Thanks
Cool.
again.
Good
Appreciate
night,
you.
guys.
Alan.
Bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.